Bitcoin maximalists love to predict that Bitcoin is going to hit 500,000 or even $1 million a coin within the next 10 years. And look, I respect the optimism. I respect the conviction. But if we're being honest, these predictions don't line up with how actual financial markets work. To hit $1 million, Bitcoin needs a $20 trillion market cap. That's bigger than all the gold in the world, bigger than the entire US stock market, bigger than the GDP of most continents, and that level of valuation requires Bitcoin to become something it is not yet, a global reserve asset or a universal settlement currency. But today, Bitcoin behaves like a high beta tech stock. When liquidity flows, it pumps. When the dollar strengthens or interest rates rise, it crashes. That is the opposite of how a reserve asset behaves. Institutions cannot deploy trillions into an asset that routinely drops 50% on a liquidity sneeze. Volatility isn't just an annoyance, it's a capital barrier. You cannot have trillion-dollar inflows when the asset moves like a meme stock with a marketing team. And then there's the mania problem. Bitcoiners base these predictions on halving cycles and the idea that every 4 years, retail hysteria magically returns on schedule. But manias are not monetary policy. You can't legislate excitement. You can't force another 2017 or 2021. Human psychology does not operate on a block height timer. Meanwhile, macro actually matters. If real interest rates stay positive, if liquidity tightens, if the dollar gains strength, Bitcoin does not moon. It behaves like every other speculative asset in a deflationary or tightening cycle. Now, don't get me wrong. Bitcoin can still go up. It can still break new highs. Bitcoin has real use cases, real innovation, and real staying power. But reaching 500,000 or $1 million in the next decade requires a complete transformation of Bitcoin's global role. It has to become a stable, trusted, widely adopted monetary base, not a speculative instrument that moves with tech stocks. Until that transformation actually happens, those $1 million predictions aren't economics. They're belief, and belief alone doesn't move markets.